Very good evening, Jai Shri Krishna. Thank you for joining Shri Sai Satcharita Parayan. I hope you had a very good day today. Let us continue from where we stopped. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Om Shri Saraswataya Namaha, Om Shri Guru Dattatreya Namaha, Om Shri Mahalakshmi Namaha, Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Sai Satcharita, the life and teachings of Shirdi, Sai Baba, chapter 14, Ratanji's meeting with Sai. My obeisance to Shri Ganesh, to Shri Saraswati and Shri Guru Maharaj, to the family deity, to Shri Sita Ramachandra, my most humble obeisance, I bow in reverence to the most venerable Guru, Shri Sai Nath. We will be continuing from verse 101. If Sai is one fully satiated in all his desires, where is the need to ask for dakshina? And how can he be called desireless, who asks his devotee for money? He to whom a diamond and flint stone, a copper coin or a gold one, both measure equal in value, why does he spread out his hands for money? He who goes for alms only to sustain himself and has taken a vow of austerity and renunciation to such a detached, desireless soul, why this expectation of dakshina? He upon whom the Ashtasiddhis wait with folded hands and at whose command the Navanidhis are readily laid open, to such a one, why the state of wretchedness for money? Having abandoned the pleasures of worldly life with contempt and turned away from heavenly bliss, equally with scornful indifference, why should such detached sadhus, who know where their good lies, require money at all? Those saints, sadhus, righteous souls, who have reached perfection and whose life is dedicated to the welfare of their devotees, why should they require wealth? Why should the sadhus require dakshina? Their minds should be really free of all desires. They should become fakirs, but cannot withstand temptations and are in pursuit of money all the time. For the first darshan, he accepts dakshina. For the second darshan, he again asks for dakshina. And at the time of leave taking, he once again says, bring dakshina. Why this dakshina at every step? In the ritual worship, water is first given for devotional sipping from the palm of the hand. After a meal, water is then offered for washing hands and mouth. Then perfume is applied to the hand and betel leaf pan is offered. After all, this is over. Dakshina is given in the end. But the order followed by Baba was most unusual. As the sandalwood paste was being applied or as he was being adorned with consecrated rice, etc., he would expect dakshina to be offered to him at once. Even as the prayer of adoration at the beginning of the puja commenced, he would first ask for dakshina, and the dakshina had to be offered to the self-existing Brahman at that very moment, which should normally come at the end of the puja. Yet this doubt can be resolved without making any great effort. If you pay attention for a moment, you will be quite satisfied. Wow, there is too many questions. I'm sure all of us, when we meet the Guru and whenever the Guru has asked for dakshina, we have had this most petty and very stupid questions which we have. And that is very much human mind because we're so full of material worldly desires. We always question the good of the divine beings. So let us understand why Baba will ask dakshina. The object of accumulating wealth is to be able to spend it in charity, but instead it gets expended mostly for petty sensual purpose and pleasures. So let me read this once again. Please listen to it with great attention. The object of accumulating wealth is to be able to spend it in charity, but instead it gets expended mostly for petty sensual pleasures. Wealth facilitates dharma. From dharma comes the knowledge of the Supreme Being. Money thus takes us on the spiritual path, which brings peace and happiness to the mind. So I think this is so beautifully described. It is very simple. But let us understand what exactly Baba is saying here. The object of accumulating wealth is to be able to spend in charity. See, God gives you. Why? Because so that from you it can be gone towards good cause of giving to those who don't have. But what happens? We human beings think that, oh, it is our birthright, that I have earned this money very hard. It is my money. I own this wealth. And the greed grows and grows and grows. You become such a mean person. You become a miser. And then you only think about I, me, myself. There is nobody else you care about in this world. It's only fulfilling your own belly or your immediate family members. Besides that, you don't think about another human being on this planet Earth. So where is the question of doing charity? Or even then, if some people would want to do charity, they will do it with an ulterior motive. What is that motive behind? The fame and recognition that they get in this material world. They'll say, oh, I have donated for some fund. There is a foundation and I'm donating it for a cause. Please understand, all this foundation, the social enterprise, these NGOs is nothing but another racket of money making. They're all money making entities. It's a big scam. Yeah, people say I'm donating, there is so much charity happening, but in reality you don't know what the truth is. So that itself is, people have all these social enterprise in order to make more money. And this has become a fad in today's day and age, and it's become a big a channel to have more. You build in more wealth. That is how it has become. The world has entered into all adharmic path, unrighteousness. So where is the question of establishing dharma? So where is the question of you really donating or giving it to charity? Charity doesn't mean that I donate because I want to get a name. There is no hidden agenda. When you give selflessly. You don't even talk about it. There's a very beautiful saying, what you give from your right hand, even the left hand should not know. But we human beings want to propagate it, make a big deal about it, and put forward in all your social media profiles. The world knows you. Oh, how great a person he is. That's what you're doing it for. Where are you doing it selflessly? So if you look at this whole previous lessons that we have been doing and yesterday's lessons, it's talking about Baba being such a divine being. He's selfless being. He's desireless being. He gives it so that he cares about the well-being of everybody in this world. That is why he's giving. He's here to wear out. He's here to take all your sins and redeem you. That's what he confers on you. His benediction is there so that you can evolve on the path of spirituality. He doesn't take dakshina because he wants to fill his pockets. One who doesn't even have a roof on his head, everything is what is just come to him naturally. He doesn't even have anything of his own, not even to call of anybody as his family members. There is nobody who belongs to them. These sages manifest that body only so that they can do good in this world. There is nothing of their own. They don't covet anything. They have nothing to claim that, oh, this is mine. Under their name, they don't even have a bank account. Nothing is theirs. They live on charity. Whatever people offer to them, they just live very graciously, accepting what is given to them. They are not interested in building a social enterprise, an NGO, or running a conglomerate, and having money in millions and billions. They don't care about it. Whatever comes, if you offer something, they will take it and give it to those who really are in need, a dire need. They don't keep it even a penny with them. I've to date, like I keep saying this about my Krishna Guruji, he has not had a single penny, and he didn't earn, or he didn't take it for himself. Whatever would come, he would just give it away. And if somebody offered to him something, he's not even going to touch that. On the contrary, he'll say, please take this and give it away to somebody. And whatever you give, you don't ask him, oh, do you need something? They will always say, I don't need anything. They are not in need of anything. But if you insist that you want to make an offering, they very generously accept it. Why? Because it is not for them. So that they can, give it for some cause. If there is a small ashram of a guru, that maintenance, the sustenance can be, kept. The upkeep is taken care of. So they will use the funds towards such cause. Or if somebody doesn't have a job, or if somebody has any issues with their family, he'll just give it to those who are in desperate need of that money. What use is that money to him who is desireless being, who's not even the body? He doesn't covet anything. This is the greatness of these masters. And the only reason they take dakshina, so that they can do you a good. They can put you on the path of spiritual. Every time they take dakshina, they're taking your karma. There is no free lunch even in God's heaven. But you know what? There are a lot of disciples and people who think, oh, yes, the God has to give them, but they don't offer anything to the God in return. They don't even say thank you. Forget about even giving anything. You know, you are such an ungrateful creature on this planet Earth that you don't even say a word of thank you. Thank you, Gurudev. Thank you for blessing me with this. They don't even have the courtesy to say that. They don't even acknowledge that the Guru gave them. When they want, they come with a big begging bowl. You know, how is the begging bowl? It's a bottomless pit. It's not closed. It's just open because it goes on and on and on. You have to keep putting in it, and it's never, they will never ever be satiated with their desires, and they'll not get tired of asking. Ask is all the only thing that they want, and continuously, where you don't even have the goodness to give that much to the Guru who's done so much for you, and yet you keep, going to him like a beggar in this street. That's exactly what you do. Come to him constantly. Why? Because you need, either it is your well-being of your family, or it is somebody is falling sick and somebody's got cancer, somebody's got some other disease, my son is dying, my daughter is dying, you name it. Or I want job, or I want, I want a baby, I want a job, I want a baby, I want a green card. Oh yes, my Guruji has granted people green card even when it was a time when nobody would ever get a green card. Such has been his goodness, and the same disciple refused to give even 1 rupee to him, and even acknowledge that my Guruji had given. Such are the great people who exist in this planet Earth. Yet my Guruji does not differentiate either who gives them or doesn't give them. He still imparts the same knowledge to everybody in his samabhav. His mind is not disturbed because in the how people behave. He is not affected with how people treat him. It doesn't even matter because he is who he is. Nobody has to give him, nobody has to give him a certificate defining who he is. It doesn't require. He is God Almighty. You don't have to say, oh, he's great. He's not expecting you to convince or give him that credit as to who he is. He's already that. He knows it. He's all knowing. You are that mere mortal who needs that salvation in this life. So please be grateful, when the great masters ask, don't deny them. There was a very interesting somebody I know of in my circle, and she had a guru. Unfortunately, what happened was, until the Guru was very nice and pleasing her, she was very good. One day so happened that the Guru said, I need some money to construct something. And she got very furious. Oh, how can this Guru ask me money and all that? And within no time, she says, I can spend this on my, some for good of my own family. Why should I give to somebody who I don't know? So, just because the person asked you money, now that Guru became, you don't know? That this is how people estimate a Guru. People value a Guru. I'm sorry, you cannot say something like this. Very sad story. And after a year or so, the person had cancer, and then that's all. She passed away. What use is the money now? Did you come with anything and did you go with anything? You all have to leave and go. So why are you calculating when you have? Give to this world and give to those who cannot repay back to you. That's exactly what Jesus says. You must give who cannot return to you, who are in dire need of that money today. Please value and don't become so greedy that you can't get up from this world. And there is no salvation when you get carried away and lost in the, being a miser. Don't do that. Wealth is only to establish dharma, and it is very clearly mentioned. Wealth facilitates dharma. It is for the well-being. The reason why we have been given so that we can channel to this world and everything can be, taken care of. I'm not saying that we are here to change this entire world or be able to help everybody, but at least in whatever capacity that you can, show that goodness. From dharma comes knowledge. And when you do this dharma, when you serve the universe of the divine, then knowledge comes to you. And it is very important that this knowledge is not about the truth. It is not the material worldly knowledge. The knowledge of Supreme Being. Money thus takes us on the path of spiritual. So please know that wealth has a purpose. So then it opens the path of spiritual. Because when you are in the path of sattva, then it opens up that knowledge. It puts you on the spiritual path, which brings peace and happiness to the mind. And that's the only way to evolve for your spiritual wheel. There is no other way. Initially, for a very long time, Baba did not accept anything, but would collect only the burnt matchsticks and fill his pocket with them. Whether a devotee or otherwise, He asked for nothing from anyone. If someone placed a copper coin before him of 1 pice or half a pice, he used to buy tobacco or oil with it. He was very fond of tobacco and used to smoke a beedi or a clay pipe filled with it. Limitless was the service rendered by this clay pipe, for it hardly ever remained unkindled. Later, someone thought that how he could go for a saint's darshan empty-handed, that is, without a dakshina. And so he took some dakshina with him. If a didaki was given to Baba, he would put it in his pocket. But if anyone placed a coin of 2 pice, he would return it to the giver, all intact. For a long time, such was his practice. Later, after some time, Baba's fame spread. Devotees flocked to Shirdi in large numbers, and Baba's puja began to take place with all the rites and rituals. Now the worshippers knew on the authority of Shastras that no puja can conclude without an offering of gold, flowers and dakshina. While sprinkling sacred water at the coronation of a king or while worshipping his feet, the worshippers brings offerings and presents. In the same way, for the Guru Puja, dakshina is to be offered. This is extremely important. Those who offer dakshina attain to a higher state, that is heaven. Those who offer gold attain the highest knowledge, that is moksha. Those who give gold become pure of heart. So says the Vedas. There is a reason why you must offer dakshina, why you must offer gold. It is very important. It is actually mentioned here. It brings the spiritual being of a human being. He's not interested in your gold. Please know that a gold, whatever, the money or the shit, everything is one and the same to the divine. They will chuck both into the water and they'll walk away. It doesn't even matter to them because they are not storing, they're not coveting any wealth. Please understand this. But when you go and when you're visiting the master, you don't go with empty hand. Whatever can you offer, please take that. It could be even 1 rupee, a leaf of tulsi, a small thing. You should go with an offering. I've seen many disciples of my Guruji will walk empty handed. These are the basic etiquettes. When you go to the temple, you carry some flowers at least, right? It is important. You're going to meet your guru. Please take something along with you. These are not a simple, these are not a knowledge which has to be given. This is our Sanskriti. This is our values. We have been taught and it is mentioned here. So says the Vedas. It is mentioned in the Vedas. How do you respect your master? You need to take something. Don't go empty hand when you meet your guru or any divine being for that matter. And don't go with a laundry list saying, oh, I have come here to only ask. Don't go with hidden agenda and intentions. Please know that these divine beings and great masters are all knowing. They know why you come to them. Yet they will not open their mouth and so graciously accept whatever garbage or whatever that you dump on them with all your dirt and muck you throw there. And then, you want everything. The spiritual wheel also has to be given on platter. Such is today's world. Those who don't even know how to respect the authority and the gurus. They just want to talk whatever comes to their mind. Please know that it's a place. There is a reason why that person is in that position. You don't have the right to speak like that. Similarly, when the master is teaching, learn with humility. It's not necessary to, doubt the divine being. They do everything for the good and welfare of their devotees alone. There is no hidden agenda. Whatever they do it for the well-being of the spiritual being of that individual. No matter how bad the individual might be, but yet their benediction and their goodness is always flowing on that person. The grace is there. Know this and always go with some offering. Mark this, embed this in your mind. When you go to meet a guru, don't go with empty hands. By applying sandalwood paste comes sanctity and purity. By offering consecrated rice, one gets longevity. Flowers and betel leaf pan bring wealth and prosperity. Similarly, offering gold and dakshina gives the fruit of opulence. And I think Baba has mentioned here yesterday also when he was talking about how the divine beings work. When you give him 1 pice, whatever it comes back to you in 100 times more. He gives it, return it back to you in 100 folds. I know my Guruji, many a time when somebody gives him with very reluctant, you know what he'll do? He'll just take it because so that the other person should not incur any sins. So he will on his own ask for it and take it. And that other person will call him names and abuse very badly. And yet, you know what, at the right time he will give that back, the same money in abundant. And when he returns, know that that person is going to get more, 100-fold times more than what they have given. And never ever the sage keep, or the saints or the divine being keep even one paisa of yours. The reason they accept is so that they are doing you a good to eternity. So please be very grateful to this. Dakshina, necessary for ritualistic worship of a deity, and so it is also at the concluding ritual of a vow, and an offering or a present of gold is required. All the worldly transactions proceed on the basis of hard cash, and to live up to their reputation and honor, people spend liberally on such occasions. If dakshina becomes acceptable for the puja of a deity by the recitation of a mantra like Hiranya Garbhastha, then why should it not be so for a saint's puja? Absolutely. People want to go and put, in Balaji's hundi so much more, crores and crores of rupees. But they, when come to give to the saint, they will question, oh my God. Or they will go to a place where they go. Why? Because they want to give something so that they can get more. But when you are meeting your master, you want to question his integrity. This is the world today. Oh my God, I feel very sad. This is one thing that I get very angry with, even with my Guruji. I said, why do you let people get away with murder? You do so much for them. You wear out. People, if they have some emergency and they are in some dying situation or whatever it is, right? They will write, even if it is midnight. They don't care whether my Guruji is sleeping or even whether he is well or not. It doesn't matter. They have to first write to him, even if it is midnight. Why? Because they are in need. That's when they'll remember. And after everything is cured, there is not even a word of thank you. And you don't even offer anything. And then they'll disappear completely. This is the kind of people we exist. Mean and petty. And please know that you are incurring sin, and that wrath will come to you. While going for a saint's darshan, different people go with different ideas, each according to his knowledge. And about this, unanimity is rare. Unanimity is rare. Some go with faith and devotion, some to test the saint's powers, while some others feel that if he can read what is in their minds, only then is he a saint. Oh wow. I mean, this is talking about you people, the same thing happens here. People come and question my Guruji as well. I'm going to read this once more. Please listen very well. Huh? Some go with faith and devotion. Some to test the saint's powers. You want to test whether how much power he has, so that then you can use that power for your, petty benefit. You want to first test him. Who the hell you think you are to come and test here? He will just throw you out like that. Don't even try. His Maya is very strong. And please know that just some time back we read, his Ashta Siddhis are surrounded by him. Don't, use your petty mind to understand the divine being over here. You can get out here. Nobody's asked you and nobody's invited you here. You are coming because of a grace. And please be very humble and be very grateful for that grace. And don't try to show your pettiness over here. Nobody is interested in you. We say at Krishna Ashram that this door is open. Please leave your ego, arrogance, and your mind outside. And all that you have learned, please leave that there and come. When you come, please come with that love. Please come with that faith, and only to learn and seek the grace from my Guruji. Not to come and test his powers, or not to come and see whether he's real or what he is. Whether he knows something or not. Who is he? I'm sorry, you're getting an audience with the Divine Master. Go to any other ashrams in this world. Nobody gives you that kind of an attention what my Guruji gives. And this is the supreme truth. And nobody can refute this to me. You know what? Go listen to my Guruji's teachings. And he only talks about this, about the truth of what Lord Shri Krishna or any other divine beings have imparted. Every scripture that he teaches, whether it is Bhagavad Gita, Uddhav Gita, Das Bodh, Guru Charitra, Sai Baba's Poti, there's all the satsangs recorded. Go listen to it. This is exactly what he teaches. He only cares about your spiritual being. He's not interested in anybody's money. It has been 20 plus years for him in the spiritual world. To date, he has not taken one penny from anybody, And even if he has asked, the only reason why he's asked is because you should not fall, you should not incur sin. He only cares about the goodness for you. That is why he has asked that penny as well. And he has forgiven all your sins that you have incurred against him. And you have said to him, Such is the greatness of these divine beings. They always wear out themselves. And people come here to question, oh my God. And you know what? They'll cross their legs, sit whatever way they want. And they think he's an ordinary human being, that they can have a humanly conversation. Who's given you that right? Mind your language. And when you meet the master, please be humble and talk with respect. And while others feel that if he can read what is in their minds, only then is he a saint. Oh wow! You want to read what is in his mind, then you'll become convinced that that person is a saint. Oh wow! Why should he read what is there in your gutter mind? You think the saints are jobless? Yes, they're all knowing. They know with what intention you're walking in when you enter that. You enter their shrine. They are very well knowing. They're all knowing. They're all pervading. They're omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient. Never even doubt that one bit. Yet they will not, bow down to stupid, idiotic mind of yours. They will only act as, if you try to question them and show that is how they are going to put that back to you. They will appear very ordinary. You are not going to see the divine being over there, because it is the gutter in your mind which is showing, which is telling that he's an ordinary being. And that is exactly what you're going to get 1,000 times back. So please take it. You are never going to experience the divinity. As is your faith, so are your experiences. It is not a joke to experience the divinity in front of a guru. But first, what is your faith? That is what is important. Come with that goodness in the heart. Show that devotion. Have that faith. Then he will see if you're worthy enough to give that grace. So please become worthy first. Some pray for a long life. Some for elephants, gold, wealth, property. Again, some ask for the sons, grandchildren, etc. And some for undiminishing constant power. You know what? This is all what you come with. I hope you understood. I think we already covered. I don't have to re-emphasize over and over and again what kind of a petty human being you are and why you come here at the saint's door. The only reason why you come is because you're going to get something. And when you think you are today, if you've got a job or you're somebody is cured in your family, then you are going to get that faith in him. And that is why you want to be associated with the master, not because of anything else. Why? Because you got something from him. Now you understand, oh, there is something in this. Now I want it. Ulterior, hidden agenda. Please, there is no place for people like you over here. In a Lord's shrine, you don't come, you don't establish a faith based on what you get. You establish your faith because you know that is who he is. Even if you have not seen him, but that faith is what will lead you to that path. First, have that faith. Had they not been fortunate enough to have even this much, they would at least repent at heart, and their faith, being confirmed by direct experience, would overcome their ego. Oh my God, I'm sure. This is a very fantastic lesson that is Baba is teaching here. I'm sure, yeah, you'll take it in this year and leave it in this year, because people think somebody is an idiot sitting there and trying to waste their energy in teaching all of this, because a human mind doesn't want to listen. It has its own way to tell you how great you are, your ego and arrogance, and it keeps intact your pride. Had they not been fortunate enough to have even this much, they would at least repent at heart, and their faith, being confirmed by direct experience, would overcome their ego. First, you need to overcome their ego. How? But that little experience. But before that, you need to have a repentance in your heart. It's not just going to come like that. And yet, these were all common, ordinary people, very much involved in the worldly life. And Baba wished them to become pure of heart by giving dakshina. Oh my God. I think you're getting your answers. I hope you understand. Please. I'm going to read this once again. And yet, these were all common, ordinary people, very much involved in the worldly life. And Baba wished them to become pure of heart by giving dakshina. The only reason he takes dakshina is so that he can purify your heart. Like I said, you know what? Yearly once, there will be very few people who will do favor on my Guruji. And he has great disciples across the globe who will sit there and then they will want to say, oh, I want to offer dakshina. It's a favor, they're not actually giving from their heart. It's a favor. Why? Because they know that on Guru Purnima, they have a hidden agenda. They want to get some knowledge from the Guru. They want the blessings. That is the meanness that they carry, and that's why they want to send. Not because they have a pure at heart. And know what Baba does. The great master accepts this graciously, because he knows someday in your life you're going to be in a gutter, and that day that money is required, and he will give you 1,000 times back that same thing on your face. He will literally snap it up. His universe will do. He will not do. The only reason why he accepts is for that. Not because he cares about you, and not because he wants your money. Know that. And don't ever think that you're doing a favor on a guru. The Shruti, Yagnan, Danan, Tapasa explains in clear words that those who are anxious for self-knowledge will find its secret in the giving of dakshina as one of the means of attaining it. Honestly, I've never even understood what this means, but today this is the secret it is being given here. Why do you give dakshina? Only way to attain knowledge is through dakshina. Without giving Guru dakshina, no knowledge will come to you, no spiritual wheel will happen. Please know this very clearly. The great masters do a big favor to you, and if you don't give Guru dakshina, you cannot get that knowledge. The fructification of what you're learning can never happen. This is the supreme truth. It's very sad. Even when you don't give dakshina to my Guruji and you're getting that knowledge, that is a sin. It's a karma. It is mentioned in Guru Gita, where Lord Shivji imparts this profound knowledge to Parvati. And in that he said, when you do not offer Guru Dakshina, you become the biggest sinner on planet Earth. But yet that sin is also absorbed by Gurus. That is what he is. He takes up all your karmas. Even when you don't give, it is a karma you're incurring, because you have taken that knowledge from him, and knowledge cannot be got freely. Please know this. The devotee, whether a seeker of the material or of the spiritual end, he has to give dakshina to his guru for the full fulfillment of his desire and in his own interest. I hope you understand. I'm going to read this again. Please drill it in your head. The devotee, whether a seeker of the material or of the spiritual end, has to give dakshina to his guru for the fulfillment of his desire and his own interest. Oh my God, this is so important. Whether you want a material worldly desire to fulfill or your spiritual will, Guru Dakshina is mandatory. It is very important. There was a time when my Guruji's Gurudev told, please go ask his disciples to give Guru Dakshina. And I had to call everybody. I am not interested in asking anybody. I was forced to do this. And when I called everybody and explained, can you please give whatever, even $100 a month, whatever that you can. It is very important. Today, it is the need of the hour. We were in certain situation and we humbly pleaded. We asked, what is the answer? Sorry, I can't do, because, I myself don't have money. Yet people will go by car, people will get a green card, everything happens. They get a new job, more salary. This is the kind of disciple exists in this world today. Ungrateful creatures. Even Brahmadev told his 3 children, God, demon and man, the same, when they asked his advice on the completion of their period of celibacy. He instructed them in the monosyllable, the, and impressed it on their minds by asking what each understood by it. Truly, the Leelas of Guru and Shishya are marvelous. Practice restraint, God interpreted. Be merciful, the demon understood. Give in charity, so thought man. Well done, fine said Brahmadeva. I will read this once again. Practice restraint, God interpreted. Be merciful, the demon understood. Give in charity, so thought man. Well done, fine said Brahmadeva. Gods are none other than men, differing from them only in their disposition. Men endowed with excellent qualities but unsubdued senses, they are called gods. Even the demons dwell only among men and are those who are vicious, cruel, and prone to violence. As for men themselves, they are tormented by uncontrollable avarice. These are the three types among men. I hope you understand. I think you must be falling under one of this, right? This is exactly who we are. Ungrateful human beings. We are always on the path of adharma. The reason why these great beings come and impart this knowledge, so that we become good and we walk the path of righteousness. Hence, to pull the greed-engulfed man out of the abyss of avarice, Sainath, the ocean of kindness, takes his devotees out by the hand, wishing for their welfare. I think I don't have to read this, so beautifully explained. I think you don't even need any explanation. Please embed this in your brain a little bit. The 11th Anuvak, that is section of the Taittiriyopanishad, describes many types of gifts. Listen to each one of them. To begin with, whatever is to be given should always be given with faith. Oh wow, that's the first thing that doesn't exist in any human being. They'll have doubt. They will forcibly take out. You know what? Even if they have to pay some 100 rupees, they'll have oh God, I have to give 100 rupees. That is the kind of crappy people exist in this world. To begin with, whatever is to be given should always be given with faith. Number 1. For if given without faith, it bears no fruit. You can have all your self-conceit, deceit, and you can give. Nothing is going to work out from that. Nobody even cares about that money that you've given. Out of fear for the king's command, for the dictates of the Shastras, or at least out of shame, something should be given. Oh my God, out, please, I'm going to reread this. Listen very intently. For the king's command, for the dictates of the Shastras, or at least out of shame, something has to be given. Please know this. You cannot walk empty hand in a guru's ashram. You cannot go without taking an offering. And don't make an offering with your unfaithfulness, or don't make an offering with a hidden agenda that I'm going to bear fruit. Whatever agenda you're giving with, if there is slight, deceit in that, no, nothing shall work out. Please know this. Even at a ceremonial occasions like weddings, etc., some gift is to be given to fulfill obligations of friendship. Such are the dictats of social custom. So Baba too asked of his devotees the same, as indicated by the letter the. And for their own good, be compassionate, give generously, and subdue your senses. Please know this. When you open your heart and give generously, the divine will give you with that much of spiritual knowledge. Your spiritual will happen. It is not, the divine is not taking, they have nothing to take from you. And in fact, they will give you more than that you can ever imagine. Please know this. And subdue your senses. Yeah, they are going to remove all your greed, and they're doing you a favor. Please know that, because you're lost in that muck, the mire of this material worldly delusions. You're lost in that filth, and you will experience great happiness. Guru Raya was making use of this short monosyllabic mantra for his devotees to destroy the threefold faults of unsubdued senses, etc. How great a divine being they are. They only come here so that they can remove you out of the muck, the mire of, the worldly filth that you are living in. Please be grateful, and please never question the motivation of why your guru is asking for dakshina, or when your guru says, I want this, go run, immediately offer that to him. It is a very great thing to do, and you're earning yourself a merit, and it's not for his benefit that he's asking. Lust, anger and greed are not conducive to self-upliftment, and they are very difficult to conquer. Hence was this easy way recommended. Absolutely. We all fall in one of these categories, right? Either you're fallen for lust or anger and greed. We all have to learn to curb this. It's not so easy to overcome, because these are the tendencies, and this is going to put you off the path of spirituality. And yes, I get angry. Why? Not because I love to be angry, but when I see people misbehaving with my Guruji, I do question that. I stand for that. And this is what is taught in Guru Charitra, that you cannot take anybody misbehaving and doing bad things with your Guru. It is not what for a student to watch that and stand. And that is where I fight for it. But still, you know what my Guruji teaches? It does not matter. You don't have to be bad. You don't have to show your anger. It's not about being bad. You don't have to express your anger. You know what? They are all ignorant beings. And that is why Lord Jesus said, forgive them, Father, for they do not know what they are committing. They are ignorant beings. And this is what my Guruji teaches as well. But when you love your divine master, when he's the God Almighty, when you see some idiot in front of you, misbehaving with your Guru and trying to show him and portray him as an ordinary human being, yes, I cannot stand that. And that is the truth. And when I know my Guruji wears his body out for everybody, and when somebody cannot even offer him Guru Dakshina and they deny it on their face after taking all that knowledge, yes, it hurts me. It does matter. But it doesn't matter to my Guruji. My Guruji doesn't even care. Yet he is the benevolent. Like in this lesson, in previous lessons, Baba has said, whether be it, this rich person or a poor, whether he's evil or he's good, they only look at everybody in the equal eye. They are the great divine being. Yes, I cannot stand seeing them suffer so much for some idiots who don't deserve it. As in the Shruti, so also in the Smriti has this means been approved, but I give it below, so that the listeners may be able to follow it properly. The gateway of this hell, leading to the ruin of the soul, is threefold, that is lust, anger, and greed. Therefore, these three one should abandon. Yes, one is lust. It's easy to fall for lust. Second is anger. Anger, we just get lost. It's so difficult to overcome. Why? Because you know something is bad, you know something is wrong. But the problem is, when you know it is happening with the one you love the most, it's very difficult to curb at that time. You don't know what to do. I go in that state many a time when I know, somebody's misbehaving with my Guruji, when they're coming and questioning his integrity and his divinity. I just cannot take it. Yes, that anger comes in, and that is when I have to reiterate all these lessons and calm myself down. Yes, Lord Shri Krishna has said in Bhagavad Gita, this is a verse from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 16, verse 21. And in that he said, the three doorways to hell, the gateways to hell, the threefold: lust, anger, and greed. Therefore, these three one should control them. You cannot have that, because there is a reason why these people are put in front of me, so that I can overcome my anger. I have to calm down, because they are ignorant beings. Sometimes it just, you feel, how can people be so bad? That's what comes in. But then my Guruji, or the great divine being, everybody teaches one thing. These are the ignorant beings. That is why they keep forgiving them time and again. Know that lust, wrath, and avarice are three gates to hell, which led to self-destruction. Hence, they should be scrupulously abandoned. Most merciful Sai Samarth asked for dakshina only for the good of his devotees. He was educating them in renunciation of what great value was that dakshina to him, and of what significance was his spirituality. Who would not instantly lay down his life for the Guru's word? Absolutely true. There is nothing greater than spiritual wealth. It is priceless. No price that you think you're giving is worth it. You can't even value what you're getting. It is priceless. That's all I can say. It is so profound and so much true and real that you need to be extremely, extremely careful about how you want to progress in this world. Whether you want to avoid, or whether you want to, fall in this gutter, or you want to go ahead in your spiritual path. That is extremely important. So please know that. Don't ever fall for such things. Never question your Guru. It is extremely important. Indeed, of what use is dakshina to Baba for the spiritual welfare of his devotees, but for the spiritual welfare of the devotees. That is all he cares about. He doesn't want your money. Get this very clear. No Guru is interested in coveting your wealth. What use is it to him? He doesn't want. For his subsistence, for his life, he did not depend on their dakshina. You know what Baba did? He used to go with the begging bowl. He would beg. Whatever people offered him, he would come and have that. That is the highest detachment they have. That is how they are. That is how they subdue their ego and arrogance and everything. They don't want to, go and have some great fancy food. No, whatever was offered, or what Baba would do, he would have the big handi and he would cook in that. Whatever people gave, he would make food of that. If somebody has given him some dakshina or somebody has given him grains, he would bring vegetables, whatever is there, he will make a food and he will serve everybody. Those poor and the meek, he would feed them. This is the greatness of the Guru. He collected alms for sustenance. Hence, correct. There could be no selfish thought behind collecting dakshina. His only object was that by giving dakshina, his devotee should become pure of heart. According to Vedic saying mentioned above, the Guru Puja cannot be complete unless an offering of dakshina is first made. But now, enough of this treatise on dakshina. The significance is amply clear that dakshina was not asked for out of greed or selfishness, but only for the benefit of devotees. I hope you have all understood. I think we have had enough on this. I don't think I want to even repeat this again, but there are chapters which is again going to talk about this as we progress in the scripture. So let us now proceed with the detailed narration of the story. Listen to Sai's wonderful Leela on Ratanji's offering him dakshina. Listeners should be gracious enough to listen attentively to this marvelous story and see for themselves Sai's all-pervasiveness, remarkable nature. While he asked Shirdi, Ratnaji for dakshina, Sai narrated to him an incident of the past, but Shirdi could not remember it and hence was quite puzzled. I know that you have already given me 3 rupees and 14 annas. Now give me the remaining money which you have brought with you as dakshina. Since this was Baba's first darshan, Shethji was quite astonished to hear Baba's words and tried hard to recollect. Never have I come to Shirdi before, nor have I sent anything with anyone, he thought. Such being the case, what Sai Maharaj is saying is really a puzzle to me. Never had such a thing happen at all. I made Ratnaji feel most embarrassed. He gave Dakshina, bowed at Sai's feet, but the riddle still remained unsolved. However, the subject was left at that. Ratnaji then narrated the purpose of his visit, prostrated once again at Baba's feet, and sat down with folded hands. At heart, Shethji felt completely satisfied and said, Baba, it was indeed well that by my good fortune I had your darshan today. I am a luckless one and without much knowledge. I know nothing about puja, yajna, etc. But my good fortune I had today the darshan of one who knows past, present, and future and is wise. You know my anxiety only too well. Remove it, O gracious one. Do not push this faithful devotee away from your feet, O all merciful one. Sainath was moved by pity and said, Do not worry needlessly. Your misfortune is on the wane from hence. He then gave Udi Prasad in his hand, placed the hand of benediction on his head, and blessed Shethji with the words, Allah will fulfill your heart's desire. Ratnaji then took permission and returned to Nanded. There he related to Ganudas in detail and in its proper sequence all that had happened. I had a proper darshan and was delighted. I also had his assurance along with the prasad and his blessings. Everything took place in the most satisfying manner, but there was only one thing that I did not follow. Of what Maharaj said to me, I did not understand at all. 3 rupees 14 annas you have given me. I know. What is this that Baba said? Please explain to me all this clearly. What rupees and what annas? How could I have given anything to him before? This was my first visit to Shirdi. Oh, I do not understand the significance of this in the least. At least I am not able to resolve this. To me, it appears as a great mystery, a puzzle I cannot solve. Can you at least solve it for me? This was indeed a mystery. Das Ganu began to ponder what its significance could be, but he could not make up his mind. After some deep thinking, he suddenly remembered, and the figure of a Muslim saint called Mauli Sahib suddenly came before his mind. Born in the Muslim community, his way of life was like that of a saint. He worked as a potter, living a life that fate had ordained for him. But a detailed account of his life will only lead to a digression from the main story. Everyone in Nanded knows the life story of Mauli Sahib. So when it was decided to go to Shirdi, Mauli Sahib had casually and of his own will come to Shethji's house. Both had boundless affection for each other, and Mauli Sahib was offered garlands, fruits, etc. with proper rituals. On the occasion, Shethji was suddenly inspired to serve a light meal to Mauli, and Das Ganu was at once reminded of the expense incurred for it. The list of expenditure was called for. Every single pice was counted. It was all then added up and totally tallied perfectly. It came to exactly 3 rupees and 14 annas, neither more nor less, but that Baba should acknowledge the receipt of it only amazed everyone. It revealed Baba's many faceted personality. Sai Maharaj is a treasure of knowledge. Sitting inside the mosque, he knew the past, present, and future, in whichever part of the world it might occur. Unless there was oneness between all living beings, could Sai Samarth have experienced this or told others? Nanded is miles away from Shirdi, both being divided from each other by considerable distance. Moreover, both the saints were also unknown to each other. How should Sai receive this telegraphic message then? Any thought of separateness that I am Sai Maharaj, while Mauli Sahib is somebody quite different, was not present between the two of them. Mauli Sahib's Atma was the same as that of all others, yet blessed indeed is he who will understand the secret of oneness between all. This is how the divine beings work. They'll never let you fall down. If you have committed something, they will accept in whatever form or capacity that they can. And this is why they ask for guru, whatever dakshina or whatever offering that you might have committed to, and they will remind you if you have forgotten to offer that to them. Though outwardly inhabiting two separate bodies, inwardly both were one at heart. In fact, to use the words they both is in itself not proper at all, for they were never separate. In knowledge and spirit, in their very aims and objectives, they were one. Both were of the same essence, of the same disposition. No doubt, great distance separated Shirdi from Nanded, but their hearts, their life force, their bodies were as one, and hence this telegraphic message to each other was possible. Or, oh, how astounding are these sadhus and saints, who are as wireless telegraphic machines. Whatever happens in the universe and wherever it may happen, they know it all. They know all about it. Later, after a suitable passage of time, God rewarded Ratnaji. His wife became pregnant. The tree of hope sprouted into a leaf. On the auspicious moment, his wife delivered. The blessing came true. To the great joy of Ratnaji, a son was born to him. As after years of drought, there should be a sudden downpour of rain. Such was Shethji's joy and satisfaction at the birth of a son. Thereafter, as time went by, the family tree began to spread out and blossom. Being happily laden with sons and daughters, Ratnaji was now fully satisfied. But even thereafter, he continued to go for Sai Darshan with Sai's blessings. All his desires were fulfilled and Ratnaji was filled with joy. In spring, the mango tree is heavy with fruit, but not all the fruit will ripen. Of the 12 sons, only 4 have survived and today they live happily. And even tempered that he was, Ratnaji too accepted willingly and without the slightest regret what had been ordained by fate. And now, for the significance of the next story, this whole creation, animate and inanimate, is pervaded by Sai. Anyone may just sit still anywhere and experience it for himself. How Guruvar was pleased, how Guruvar was pleased with the faith and devotion of a poor, humble man from Thane whose surname was Cholkar. How this man took a vow before Sai, whom he had never seen before, and how his wishes were fulfilled and he was given personal direct experiences. What is a bhajan without love, or reciting a sacred text without understanding its meaning, and where is God without faith? It is not at all an effort in vain. Is it not all an effort in vain, is the question. A forehead without the auspicious kumkum mark, knowledge without actual experience are all futile. These are not words of book learning. Experience their truth for yourself and then judge. Very, very important. Till you don't experience and judge the truth. It said, first experience the truth and then make your own judgment. Don't judge before that. Why this book about Sai's Leelas, you may ask? Its purpose, I do not know. It is Sai who got it written through me, and he alone knows its purpose. Moreover, to write such a book requires a man of spiritual authority, and I am but a servant of Sai, who keeps these records by his command. I am only a slave of his command. My listeners are as the thirsty chatak birds, while Sai Samarth is the bliss-filled rain, cloud who showers rain through these stories. To quench their thirst, may this body roll over and over in the dust at the feet of that power which moves my speech and whose life I narrate. It is he who prompts my speech, it is he who narrates his own story. May this fickle mind of mine become steady and steadfast at his feet. May this bhajan not only physical, not only verbal, but also mental and bring me everlasting joy, for I am just a meek and humble messenger of Sai. The narrator and the cause of the narration is no doubt Sai himself, and yet is the listener separate from him? No, for he is not remote from Sai. To all appearances, this is just a life story, but in reality, it is all Sai's sport. He has himself become the loving sport maker and has started this powerful play called Leela. Sai Baba's life is inscrutable. He has made me his instrument and has given amazing experiences to the devotees. Thereby, he satisfies his own innumerable devotees. There is no mere life story. It is a store of happiness, a sweet nectar of salvation, which can be enjoyed only by the most fortunate one who has faith and devotion. I have toiled hard to write this book for the peace and happiness of the devotees, and we, the devotees, may always remember the greatness and the marvel of the Guru's grace. When related with loving devotion, the story will enhance the pleasure of the listeners in listening to it. when read over and over again, and the moral lesson of the stories is translated into practice, it will increase devotion and love. Absolutely. You have to over and over and over and over and again listen or read. Why? Because if you read once doesn't mean you understand this truth. If you read it twice, it doesn't mean. You have to constantly keep at it. Someday it will then, that knowledge will be imbibed within your heart and that fructification will happen. Then you will start practicing living those lessons. It doesn't happen overnight. It's for anybody. No matter how many years old you are on the path of spiritual, you would still have to continue to learn and learn and learn and practice, do your sadhanas and keep at it. Someday that fructification will happen and you'll start applying in your life. So know that it doesn't come so easily. So have a daily practice to spend that amount of time to learn or listen or do whatever that it takes for you to always be on the spiritual path. When listened to day and night, it will snap the bondage of Maya and temptations. The consciousness of Triputis will disappear and the listeners will enjoy happiness. Holding fast to Sai's feet, Hemant surrenders to him wholeheartedly and remains prostrated at his feet forever without leaving them even for a moment. I think we have 5 more minutes, but I will not be starting the new chapter. We will start tomorrow. Let us end here today, the chapter 14. I hope you understood the most profound lesson, and never forget, whenever you're actually visiting any great masters, a temple, wherever you go, even visiting somebody's house, you do not go empty hand. You always take an offering. And when your guru asks for Guru Dakshina, don't suspect him and have any kind of a mean mentality to think that he wants your money. Please don't have such things. And whatever you offer, please offer it with faith. That is the most important thing. The only way for attaining spiritual knowledge is when you give your Guru Dakshina. There are no other ways. Please know this. Will be to all. Here ends the 14th chapter of Shri Sai Satcharita, called Ratanji's Meeting with Sai, as inspired by the saints and the virtuous and composed by his devotees, Hemant Pandit. ओम श्री महागणपते नमः। ओम श्री गुरुदेव दत्त। ओम श्री सच्चिदानंद सद्गुरु साईनाथ महाराज की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। दिगंबरा दिगंबरा श्रीपाद वल्लभ दिगंबरा। ओम श्री कृष्ण गुरुनाथ नाथाय श्री गुरुवे नमः। ओम देवी दुर्गाय नमः। ओम श्री कृष्णार्पणम नमस्तु। कृष्णम वंदे जगद्गुरुम। Have a very good evening. See you all tomorrow. Thank you.